loves, welcome back. It's Jackie's Cooking. And my loves, we are going to make this beautiful beef filling for our puff pastry. This is also a Haitian meat patty. You're going to love it. But my loves, before anything else, please subscribe. Give your girl a little bit of support, okay? And don't forget to press that notification bell so you can get weekly updates and notifications of my recipes. Don't forget to like and share. Listen, let everybody know about me. Let everybody know about Jackie's Cooking, all right? So, my loves, these are the ingredients for our beef filling. In Haiti, they make these a lot. I mean, you can't go anywhere, no party, nowhere without having Haitian pate. Okay, so we have some beef here. This is about 20% fat. We have some chopped onions. We have a scotch bonnet pepper here. That's optional, but I like a little heat in my stuff, you know. We have some sour orange. If you don't have sour orange, you could use lemon or lime juice, which is good. We just need that little bit of acidity. We're going to need some tomato sauce. We're going to need some black pepper. We're going to need some green seasoning. Okay. And we are going to need some complete seasoning here. I love this because it has everything in it, like garlic and all that other stuff. Okay. And we have some chicken bouillon powder here. And it doesn't make it taste like chicken. I just, gives you the essence. And we need some dark soy sauce. And we're also going to need, my loves, as you can see in the back, some breadcrumbs. And that's going to help keep our meat filling together. And we're going to get to this. So we're going to put half of our beef our beef into our pot. And my loves, don't worry because the ingredients are listed in the description box below. So we're going to add some of our green seasoning. I do have a video for green seasoning, my loves. Okay, we're going to add that. Then we're going to add some of our chicken bouillon, or if you know, or Maggi powder to our beef here. And when you're making this, you could make this with chicken, grounded chicken. You can make it with codfish. Oh my God, that is so good with the codfish. You can make these sweet. You can make apple turnovers with them. Okay, and now we are adding our complete seasoning. We're adding some black pepper. I think I only had a little bit up in there. Trying to get as much of it out as I can. Okay. And now we are going to mix all that in. Our beautiful green seasoning, our chicken bouillon flavor, our complete seasoning, black pepper. We're going to mix that in there, right in the pot. And as you can see, I didn't add oil because usually this has oil. I mean, lots of grease in it anyway, so I added a little bit more green seasoning, okay? So I didn't, because this is going to render some fat anyway, even though it's 20% fat, but it's going to run some of that fat anyway, because you need some fat in there, you know. So we're just mixing that up, and we're going to put this back. Now, I forgot to add some Tony chercheries right here, guys. Okay, you're going to need some Tony chercheries. I forgot to tell y'all. But if you don't have it, it's not a big deal. I just like the extra kick that Tony chercheries adds to my food. Okay, so now we got that on the stove and we're stirring it. Okay. Okay, we're just cooking that and, breaking it up, And anybody who knows, if you've ever been to a Haitian party or anything like that, these Haitian patties are nothing but puff pastry with any type of filling. Could be made sweet, savory. Right now, my loves, I'm just cutting up a little scotch bonnet pepper. That's optional, but if you don't mind a little heat, a little bite, a little Scotch bonnet pepper cut up into this is so good. Okay. Again, you can make these apple turnovers. You could add a little cherry filling into them. You could put pineapples and guava into it. You could put cheese into it. You could make this vegetarian. You could make cones out of these and stuff them with some nice pastry cream. So many things. So my loves, right now what I'm doing, I'm just draining the excess fat and water from this. Okay, I'm just gonna use a little bit of it in the upcoming, so don't throw it away just yet, but I just want to get rid of that excess. So now we are adding we're adding our chopped onions to this. Okay, I didn't have no peppers, so if you got no bell peppers and stuff, go ahead, knock yourself out. Okay, so I'm adding some of my onions and we're gonna cook that through. Okay, and we're just continuing to brown our beef here. Okay, and we are now going to start adding our Scotch bonnet for a little bite. Okay, just a little bite. If you don't have it, you can use red pepper flakes too. Okay, just for a little bite. And I'm also going to link my other version of puff pastry, which is called rough puff pastry, and this is a quicker version of making puff pastry. Okay, it's something you could do in under like 30 minutes. And I like to do it that way because it's less stress for me. So you could either choose which one you like. So I just took a little bit of that fat, my loves, and I add a little bit more of that fat back into our beef mixture. Okay. Now I'm adding some dark soy sauce. Okay, and we are going to add our sour orange. I want a little bit of acidity in there. Okay, and now we are going to add our tomato sauce. Just a little bit of tomato sauce. It's going to add moisture, flavor, and it's going also somewhat of a. See, I don't like a little bit of water. I just add there just to get rid of, help get that little bit of tomato sauce left over. I don't like the beef filling to be dry and crumbly. So what I do when I do this, I add some extra liquid in there because I want it to be somewhat like a paste-like. So when you bite into it, the meat is nice and moist, and that's where the breadcrumbs are going to come in. You're just going to need a little bit of breadcrumbs. You don't need a lot, and it's going to help bind it together. Okay, I'm just adding a little bit more for moisture. But yes, like I was saying before, I'm linking the quick puff pastry in the description box below, my loves. So we just add a little bit of breadcrumbs to bind it, and we're gonna cook it for about a minute or two. And because it's quicker, I wanted to show you two versions, as you saw in part one, which is the French way, pâté, which is the French version, and that's a longer version. I love it, but it's time consuming, so I do have the quick version for you as well, okay, which is to me just as good. So okay, now we let that cook covered for about 2 minutes or so. Okay, I just want to cook those breadcrumbs through, and as you can see, it's binding together. It's not runny, and it's not like a, it acts as a, it's not crumbly. I hate when the meat fillings are crumbly. I can't stand that. So now I'm just taking it out of the pot and putting it on a plate so it could start cooling down. This is a good tip. If you ever want to cool stuff down quicker, take it out of out of your pot, and if you put it on the plate and spread it out, it will cool quicker. All right, so now I'm just taking out half of my pastry. Okay, and I cut that pastry, of course, again in half. It's just easier for me to work with, and I could focus on a smaller size so I could better explain it to you and you could see what I'm doing. As you can see, I did speed up the process a little bit. Okay, and we're just rolling out this pastry about a quarter of an inch thick, because this is very strong puff pastry. Okay, it's very strong puff pastry. I will say this is better than store-bought puff pastry, because to me, you really get that nice buttery taste. You know, you don't get that, I don't know, it's just a difference between something that's homemade as opposed to something that's manufactured, okay? So we're just rolling this out to a quarter of an inch thick, okay? Because again, this is going to give you a lot of rise, okay? And it's no leavening, and we're just brushing off any excess flour. Okay, and you're gonna preheat your oven, my loves, to 400 degrees. So now I'm just measuring out. Okay, I'm gonna make some nice sized pastries here. Okay, I mean, once you get them, once I teach you this, you cut it, I don't know. You can make them round, whatever you want, you know. Make them square, you can make them triangle. Okay. And now we're going to start adding our beef filling. I don't, you know, a lot of times when I used to eat Haitian pastries, I used to hate the fact that they didn't have a lot of meat in them. They used to have about a penny size of meat and $1 size of pastry. It's like, come on now. Okay, so I like to make sure mine has enough meat in the filling. Okay, make sure that your meat is cooled down before you put it into the pastry. Okay, so now I'm just adding, I'm a little extra, I'm adding some mozzarella cheese. That's just optional. Okay, and you're gonna preheat your oven to 400 degrees, my loves. And usually when we bake this, it's baked, and I started off at 400 because when it goes into the oven, I want that butter to be shocked. Once it's shocked, the butter is going to release that moisture in between the layers, and it's going to create a steam effect, which is going to cause that puffiness, okay, in the layers. So as you can see, guys, I'm sealing the edges, but I'm sealing the inner part of the edges, not the outer part of the edges. You see what I'm saying? So I just took a little bit of water with my hand, with my fingers, and just going around the pastry. And guys, if it's still not sticking, you could take your hand that's damp, mix it with a little bit of the flour that's on your surface to create somewhat of a little tiny, you know, thin type of glue, and that'll keep it together. All right, so seal the inner edges. Okay, do not crimp it. Don't crimp it, because, you know, again, you're making puff pastry. You want it to be free enough so it could rise, and you don't want to hinder the rising process. Okay. Okay, just like that. As you can see, while my hands are damp, I'm just collecting some flour, making my finger damp with that, creating some kind of a glue, and it really did work. Okay. And my loves, if you did not subscribe, please go ahead and subscribe, okay? And press that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my weekly updates. I will be putting videos up every Friday and or Sunday. So I could either put videos up both Friday and Sunday, or I could either put one video up either Friday or Sunday. All right, so those will be my days. I guess, I mean, I always post videos weekly, you know, but at least if I let you know around when I'll be posting the videos, you'll be alert and know when to expect Jackie to put up something delicious, okay? All right, so this is my other half of my dough. Okay, and I'm just rolling that out about a quarter of an inch thick. and I'm measuring to cut it out. Okay. And I'm speeding up the process here. Putting in my filling. And FYI, from my previous video, I told y'all when y'all make puff pastry, you could make this dough and it could last up to 3. I've had it where I've lasted up to 6 months because I've kept it well wrapped, you know, in plastic wrap, you know. So keep it well wrapped and it'll last long, because sometimes you may be having guests or what have you, but these make great appetizers, great hors d'oeuvres, so many things you can make with puff pastry. Okay, and if you want, you could make the filling like this, stuff them like that, and you could pop them in the freezer, and when you need to, take it out, let it thaw, preheat your oven to 400 degrees, let it thaw out nicely, and you can bake them. So you can make this over here in advance with the filling and everything like that, and stuff them and put them in your freezer. When you're ready, take them out. All right, so my loves, right now I'm just prepping. I'm putting this on my Silpat. If you don't have that, you could use parchment paper. And I just took an egg yolk with a tablespoon of water, and I'm mixing that because that's going to help my pastry brown. I mean, it'll brown anyway, but I like that glossiness it gives. It gives it like a brown glossy sheen on top. Just make sure when you are putting your egg wash on the pastry, do not allow the egg wash to drip on the sides, because you don't want it to seal the sides, because remind you, this is puff pastry. So just make sure you don't allow the egg wash to drip over the sides of the pastry, okay? Because you don't want it to prevent it or hinder it from rising. Okay, so we're gonna put this in a 400 degree preheated oven, guys. As you can see, it's baking. After 20 minutes in the oven for 400 degrees, we're gonna bring it down to 350 degrees for another 10 to 15 minutes. This is after 20 minutes. Okay, we brought the temperature down to 350. As you can see, it's rising nicely. Okay, so for a total of 35 minutes, and make sure you space out your pastry. You want them to have space for them to rise. And here you go. This is our beautiful puff pastry Haitian meat patties. Okay, pâté feuilleté avec viande moulée. All right. Look at that. Look at those beautiful layers. Look at that. Now, this is worth it, because at the end, you're getting homemade, that delicious flakiness, that butteriness. So again, guys, this is a very strong dough. Okay, so it depends on how big you cut them. You could get a lot out of this. All right. Again, guys, I will link the one for rough puff pastry. Look at that. Look at those beautiful layers. Look at that. It's like magic. Nothing but layers of butter and dough put together to create this beautiful magic. Guys, leave your comments in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up. And most of all, do 3 things for me, my loves. That is eat, love, and pray.